People were built different back then. People back then didn't lie down all day on a couch watching TikTok or Instagram. So women body could do a pregnancy in 5 minutes easy. Now it is a burden because all the processed food, chemicals, and unhealthy lifestyle. Women's body could do a pregnancy in 5 minutes easy? Is he talking about childbirth? Not like the whole process of carrying a baby. Is he talking about childbirth? He'd still be wrong, but it would be more believable. If he's talking about the entire 9 months gestation period, the entire development of a baby in 5 minutes. What? I don't think the elasticity of human skin would even be able to survive that. Like, over time, skin can stretch, but if you try and stretch it that much in 5 minutes, their stomach's gonna rip open. This video brought to you by my YouTube members and patrons. Thank you guys. How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to another subreddit video. Today we are going to be returning to r/badwomensanatomy, the subreddit that makes you really question the education system and knowledge about the human body, because it's questionable for a lot of people. I feel like that's kind of it, kind of all I have to add. Very quickly before we begin, I will be live in 2 hours as of this video going out, so please do consider coming along, as it's always a good time. I would love to see you guys there. And also, YouTube members and patrons, you guys get an extra video every single week for as low as £1 a month. That equates to about 25p per video. So if that is something that interests you, please do consider joining, as it really helps support the channel. And if you want to put a little extra in, there is that option too. You unfortunately won't get anything extra for it right now, although I am having a look into possible other benefits in the future, but it still really helps support the channel. So massive thank you to everybody that does. Right, let's get into the subreddit, shall we? Bodies come in all shapes and sizes. They say that bodies come in all shapes and sizes. Oh really? Have you ever seen a person in the shape of a rhomboid? Still, there are a variety of female figures you can use to create unique characters. Here are 4 basic body types. Classic, full figure, athletic, tall and thin. It took me a while to see any kind of difference. I just saw this and was like, those are all the exact same drawing. They're in slightly different poses, but they're all the exact same drawing. There are very, very minute differences, but also there's a lot more. There's a lot more than 4 basic body types. Women will never know the dread of when your dick touches the inside of the toilet bowl. Men will never know what it feels like to have a fart creep forwards and go up inside your vagina. Then you gotta do a weird bend to re-fart your fart. So this was the first time I've learned about this, because this is something I guess people just don't talk about. I have never, well, at least not to me. No one has ever told me that this was a thing. Now, the comments here really assure me that it is a thing, and I'm not gonna doubt because I don't have a vagina. I can't be like, no, this isn't true about your body due to an organ that I don't possess. If someone says this is something that happens to them, I'm going to assume it does. Unlike, sounds like a gaping hole problem. I can't imagine a fart making its way through a normal one. Fake news. Women of healthy weight probably also don't know what that's about. I think this is less of a woman problem and more of a woman over 400 pounds problem, if I had to guess. Maybe try not wearing the tightest pants possible. Also, if your cooter is that loose, you've got bigger problems. One of them being the need to save up for cat food. Women propaganda. Now, as I said, I am the kind of person that if a woman tells me something about their body, I will believe them because it's their body and they're going to know more about it than me. I'm not going to start going, this is fake news, you don't understand this thing. Like, unless it's a biological defined fact, I'm gonna trust that someone's quirks and unique things about their body are something they experience, right? The comments also reassured me that this happens to people of all shapes and sizes, all weights, all varieties, right? It doesn't matter how much you weigh, it happens to people of all varieties, right? So yeah, I don't know, it's just weird for me that a woman can talk about a thing that happens to women and someone else be like, nah, no, I'm a man and I know better. Like, you clearly don't. As a curious fact, Makima is still a virgin. We can confirm that because she can close her legs very easily without leaving a gap. I don't think that's how that works. How does losing your virginity affect how you can close your legs? I'm trying to figure this out. I'm trying to mentally process this, how that would work, because no, I've got nothing. I don't know. I genuinely, I cannot, like, having sex doesn't, like, physically change the shape of your body permanently. What?
Your vagina was not created for free sex. Your vagina was created to give God an investment on earth. Where is the family of Christ?
This isn't true. You can believe that it's true based on your religion if you want, but biologically speaking, it's not true. If this were true, this would imply that humanity is the only animal on the earth that has sex for pleasure, right? This would imply that no other animals do that, because humans are the only animals that sin, right? We're the only ones that came to earth, God gave us a purpose, and not following that purpose is a sin. That doesn't apply to other animals. That's a human thing, right? However, we're not the only animal on earth that has sex for pleasure, not by a long shot. So this claim doesn't track. It doesn't work. If you want to believe that about your own body, by all means, go ahead. However, you can't believe that about other people's bodies, especially when they're not a part of your religion.
You'd be surprised to know that women are into this stuff when you pour an ounce of alcohol into them. You can almost hear the click of a lock opening, and 10 minutes later your index finger is massaging the inside of her uterus while she's shoving as many fingers as possible into her ass to warm it up.
Your fingers should not be inside a woman's uterus. They should not be close. You should not be getting past that cervix, sir. That's not going to be pleasurable for any woman, okay? I'm about to blow this guy's whole worldview out. Hentai, not an accurate depiction of women's biology. Sorry to say it, but unfortunately that's the way it is. Also, we probably shouldn't be talking about using alcohol to lower people's inhibitions so that you can have sex with them. Perhaps.
That's not how DNA works. Your brother would have his father's DNA and his mother's DNA. You, as a girl, would have your mother's DNA and your father's mother's DNA. You only have half of your father's DNA. You do not have your father's DNA. And this is why, if one's father has any brothers, it's difficult to prove a girl's paternity. All the brothers would have the same X chromosome, so any brother could be the father. It's been pivotal in the Thomas Jefferson-Sally Hemings controversies. I really love someone opening with, "That's not how this works," and then proceeds to go on and give an explanation about something that is definitely not how that works. Like, that's not how DNA works. It's not. He was right. That is not how DNA works. So I was reading on the internet about how vaginas have ridges inside like a rifle barrel, but after menopause they go smoothbore like a motor tube. Is this for real, or is it some bro science? That's some real bro science. This is some copium dropped by, some dude bro podcasters that want an excuse to not date older women, right? You know how there's that classic trend of alpha males and dude bros who will only date women that are younger than 25. This really sounds like just an excuse made up by one of them as an excuse not to date women their own age. That's all this sounds like. Lol, I just found out the most prominent hormone when you're on your period is testosterone. So when you're emotional during your period, you're actually acting like a man.
This is just not true. It's simply not. It is simply not. And this would also imply that men permanently act like they're on their period, which I also don't think is true. Like, hormones absolutely affect your behavior, right? They absolutely do. And testosterone can make you more aggressive. There's a whole variety of hormones that affect your moods. And when you're on your period, the most produced hormones, depending on the phase of your period, tend to be estrogen, LH, and progesterone. So not testosterone. Like, that doesn't even make sense, actually. Don't get me wrong, cis women's bodies do produce testosterone, right? That is a thing. That doesn't spike during being on your period. This is a classic case of someone being like, I just found out, insert fact here, and then just making something up. Like, you didn't just find that out. She has not gone and and just found that piece of information out. She made it up because that piece of information isn't true, and no one is saying this is true. So she didn't find it out from anybody. She just made it up. And I know earlier on I said that, you know, if a woman tells me something about her body, like I'm going to believe it unless it is a biological fact, right? And it's a biological fact that estrogen and progesterone are the two main hormones produced during the period cycle, not testosterone, right? This isn't a quirk about the shape of a woman's body or an experience with a woman. This is just an actual scientific biological fact. It's ovulation week, guys. Don't go feeling special she texted you that long hey first. It's ovulation week, as if all women ovulate at the same time? Wait, do they not? I remember very well being taught the menstrual cycle lasts 30 days, i.e. first of every month to the last of every month. We don't. Jesus. Either you don't understand how a woman's body works, or you skipped all your biology classes in high school. He's saying this to a woman. First of all, someone who's going to have been tracking her period cycle, right? Something that a lot of cisgender women tend to do because it's quite important, right? First of all, yeah, the average period is around a month long. That's correct, right? That's the average length of the cycle, right? However, it doesn't just start on the first day of the month and end on the last day of the month for everybody. Because one, not everybody starts their period at the same time. Like as a child, not everyone gets their first period at the same time. Not everyone was born at the same time of day. Like we don't all develop at exactly the same rate and like everything that happens to our bodies all happens at exactly the same time at exactly the same rate. That's not how that works. There are plenty of women that have periods that can be less than a month or longer than a month. They have irregular periods that can be randomly longer or shorter, or don't start as quickly, or don't end as quickly. You know, there's a variety of things that can change that. Also, even if it was exactly 30 days for every woman, not every month is 30 days long. Like, it wouldn't even line up with the first and last day of every month because the months are between 28 to 31 days long. So that doesn't work. That doesn't track. It doesn't make sense. And then he has the audacity to say either you don't understand women's biology or you skipped your biology classes in school to a woman who has periods. A man who doesn't have them said that to a woman so confidently incorrectly. It's got the same energy as the people that believe that all women's periods sync up with the moon, right? And that all women's periods are in sync because they're syncing up with the phase of the moon. That's not how that fucking works. It's really not. The moon isn't some mystical entity that can control women's periods. When eating out a virgin, do you inhale the hymen? I've always wondered this. When Chad takes the virginity and eats her out, does the hymen come out too? And does he consume it? I haven't seen any videos of this happening, and nobody asks, but it makes sense from an animalistic perspective. It makes sense from an animalistic perspective. Does it make sense? And that's where I'm going to end the video, everybody. I hope that you have enjoyed. I'm going to leave it on that one. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. I hope you have enjoyed. If you would like to support me in making more content like this, then I have a Patreon in the description down below. Or equally, you can click on that join button on the channel to support me. It helps a lot more than you might realize, but by no means should you feel like you have to. I'm going to keep making content regardless. But a huge, massive special thank you to all of the wonderful YouTube members and patrons that do support me. All of your names are up on screen right now. It genuinely helps so much, and it genuinely means so much. So thank you to everybody that does, genuinely. Other than that, thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope you have enjoyed, and as always, I will see you in the next video. Peace out.